Hello, and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, Teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed, Shlita. I hope everyone had an enjoyable Shabbos. A little bit cold here in the Northeast, a little bit of snow, but then again, it is the middle of January in the tri-state area, so it is to be expected. We continue our learning, another week of learning, again, l'zechus, for the merit and the safety of our brave soldiers in the Israel Defense Forces, for refuah shalema, for those who need healing from various types of incidents stemming all from October 7th, physically, emotionally, mentally, and of course the return of every single one of our hostages. So we'll continue where we left off last time about the Mila of Torah in Israel and the great Sanhedrin that can only function in Israel. So once the smicha was no longer taking place, so nowadays when we use the word smicha, we say, oh, he's a rabbi, he got smicha. Doesn't mean the same thing. It just means that he went through, nowadays it means a person went through a series of tests and has shown proficiency in a certain area of Jewish law and other areas. But smicha in the Gemara means that from Moshe to Yeshua to Zakenim, to Nevi'im, etc., from generation to generation, and then it stopped after the destruction of the second Beis HaMikdash. So after that period, ukfar ein mekachim es hachodshim aydei Beis Din, and therefore one of the things that the Beis Din did was to sanctify the new month based on witness testimony. So since there was no more Beis Din, and therefore they didn't sanctify the new months and the new moons based on the Beis Din, and then from the time of Hillel, they actually had a set calendar, which we still use today, and they went based on an established calendar, not based on witness testimony. In any event, the calculation of those months, but it all depended on the Jews that were found in the land of Israel. Shne'emar, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah udvar Hashem Yerushalayim. For from Zion the Torah shall emanate, and the word of Hashem from Jerusalem. Again, these psukim which we say all the time, when we think about it in this context, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, that from Zion the Torah shall come. We think about Torat Eretz Yisrael, the Torah of Israel, or how important or how central the Torah is to the land of Israel, and vice versa, how central the land of Israel is to the studying and fulfillment of the Torah. And if chas v'shalom, there was even a small amount of time that there were no Jews in the land of Israel, which, by the way, many of our enemies would love to see, then we would lose count of the set calendar, and therefore we would not know exactly when the holidays would be. Aval, Hiftiach HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael, Hashem promised to the Jewish people, that the nations of the world will never be able to wipe us out, will never be able to destroy us and all of our signs. V'kach tamid hayu Yehudim be'eretz Yisrael, and there were always Jewish people in the land of Israel. U'b'zchusam nimshechu ha'chodshim v'chagim b'Yisrael, and in the merit of those Jews who live and have always lived in Israel, that's why we have the calendar, that's why we have the holidays, etc. This is based on the Rambam in Hilchas Kiddush HaChodesh. It's in the 5th chapter. It's also in the Sefer HaMitzvos and in other places in the Acharonim. But if we just put this in a little bit of perspective, is that right now, I don't know what the exact number is, but let's say 9 million Jews, we're at or very close to the tipping point where there are more Jews in the land of Israel than in the rest of the diaspora combined. Could be we've reached that tipping point, but we have never experienced so many Jews living in the land of Israel at one time. And this is obviously an era of blessing. We find ourselves in a very challenging immediate period, but if we zoom out a bit, we'll realize how lucky we are. V'zeu she'omer Chachamim, the Gemara Chagiga says, Kiven shegalo Yisrael mimekaman ein lecha bitul Torah gadol mizeh. Once the Jewish people were exiled from Israel, from their place, there's no greater distraction or disruption of Torah, bitul Torah, which means not learning Torah. And from this we can certainly infer that whoever studies Torah in Israel certainly will merit a special blessing. And the Medrash tells us, Ein Torah k'Torat Eretz Yisrael, there is no Torah like the Torah of Israel. Ve'od amru, The Gemara Bava Basra says, Avira de Eretz Yisrael machkim, or we say it colloquially, Avira de Ara machkim, that the air itself of Israel makes one wise. And in Israel, the depth, the inner depth of the Torah is truly revealed. Therefore, most of the secrets of the Torah that were revealed happen in Eretz Yisrael. If you think about it, for instance, if you want to get Kabbalistic, in the Arizal, when we go to Tzfat, we see all the graves of the great Kabbalists, but the great Kabbalists in the Arizal, they all were in Israel when they sort of discovered or uncovered the secrets of the Torah. Mitoch gilui hapnimios misgal achdu shebetorah, and by revealing the innermost secrets and the innermost aspects of the Torah, this also reveals the oneness of the Torah, the unifying factor of the Torah. And therefore, in the Gemara Sanhedrin and Chavdala tells us, and all the Torah scholars in Israel, in the land of Israel, will see eye to eye when it comes to Jewish law. But if we just think about it, I had the privilege, I'm not going to say what year, but it was a while ago, to spend a year and a half studying in Israel. And since that time, there was no Ein Torah K'Toras Eretz Yisrael. I've had the privilege of sending now 3 of our children to study in Israel, and you could just see that the level of learning and the level of sanctity in learning, we see with everyone who goes to Israel, even if you go for a short time. But there's nothing like the fruits and vegetables of Israel. There's nothing like the Torah of Israel. There's nothing like the people of Israel. And there's nothing like being in Israel. So we have to make it a priority to go to Israel. So for all those out there who are listening, if you've been thinking about making that trip, make it, do it. Now's the time to do it. Oh, it's not safe, by the way. You wouldn't know. If you're in Jerusalem, you would have no idea what's going on. And trust me, the people of Israel, they need you to come. They need you to visit. They need your support. They need you to see how much you care about them. So if you were thinking about making that trip, now's the time to do so. That's the way we're going to start our week. So thank you so much for listening. We'll continue as we go along the rest of the week. And keep davening for our soldiers, for Shalema, for our brothers and sisters, and for the return safely of all of our hostages. Am Yisrael Chai. Have a good day.